Hey, GW, one more time here tonight, guys. Hey, right off the heels of the program, I wanted to combine this, but I just couldn't find a way to splice video. However, I thought it would be best to mention this film because this is a film that goes underneath the radar, and you're reading that right. It's Dolph Lundgren and Louis Gossett Jr. in the 1989 direct-to-video feature. It's called The Punisher. And the first thing you'll notice is that definitely looks like Frank Castle. However, he is missing one trademark thing, the skull. Now, way before the Avengers, way before, Iron Man, there was the Punisher. This is the closest film that you'll find that sort of encapsulates the violence that has surrounded the comic book for years. Basically, what goes on in this film is the Punisher stalks criminals, and he's taking out people left and right, and he gets caught up in a war with mob bosses and the Yakuza, the Chinese, gang, or the triads. Not sure which, and it really doesn't matter because this is a fun action movie. The only thing that I will say about this is that this is one of Dolph Lundgren's probably coolest movies, but it went underrated. It was originally put out by Orion Pictures, and thank God Artisan snapped it up and did it, because this thing would have been out of print had Artisan not gotten it. There's the back of the cover, guys. But this was actually a Marvel movie, believe it or not, and it was before the big-time Marvel movies we have seen, in the last couple of years. The story plays pretty close to the comic book material. Dolph Lundgren stars as Frank Castle. We all know that. He's a veteran cop who loses his whole family to a mafia car bomb. His only ex-partner, which is Louis Gossett Jr., is the only person he can confide in. And he's the only one that believes that Frank Castle's the Punisher. Everyone else believes Frank Castle's dead. So that was cool. Now, he does live in the sewer. He drives a badass motorcycle. And like I said, the story surrounds the mafia guys by telling Frank, hey, get our kids back, take out the Yakuza. And the fight scenes are pretty wicked, and they also are pretty violent. This is an 80s movie, and it's a little bit over the top because there is a ballerina with stiletto heels. Not lying. And like I said, this is a very underrated film, and it was dismissed by general public because it went right to video, which was a shame. But guys, if you can check this thing out, this is actually, like I said, a damn good action movie. It just never got the recognition it did. The other problem, as I stated before, is that Marvel said, look, you can have the look, you can have the dark black jacket, you can have the trademarks, but you can't have the skull. That sort of defeated the purpose, and it turned away a lot of people. But if you can find a copy of this, I got this one for like $3. Prior to this, it was only available on VHS, and you can find the full movie on YouTube, but I believe this one is unrated. No, I'm wrong. It's rated R. There was talk about an unrated cut. I don't think it ever came to life because Orion was going bankrupt. Orion is the other studio that, of course, put out, RoboCop and things like that. But definitely check it out. It's a Marvel movie before Marvel movies were cool. And it also gives Dolph Lundgren another face besides Ivan Drago from Rocky IV. I mean, come on. That guy had, maybe 4 lines of dialogue in the whole thing. Frank Castle is a little bit better written character. But, hey, if you're a Dolph Lundgren fan or an action film fan in general, and I didn't even know about the comics. The only thing that I knew about The Punisher is there was a Nintendo game where it was a shooting game where your character popped up from the bottom of the screen, wiped out everybody, and when bullets came flying, you hit the B button, you ducked. That's basically all I knew. But I started reading into the comic books, and I found this character to be awesome. And I liked the way how Marvel wrote him for adults, not kids. Also, at this time frame when this movie came out, it's fair to note that there was a coin-operated beat-em-up arcade game that came out, The Punisher, which you could probably look that up on, the internet, look up some gameplay. Really classic, 2D fighting games that were pretty prevalent. And it was one of the biggest ones. And it was most fun. So, that's what I got to tell you. But I just thought I'd mention it because a lot of people, they think Punisher, they go originally to the Netflix, Joe Barenthal, or you go to Tom Hardy, this, that, and everything. But check The Punisher out. It's pretty awesome. And it's a great 80s flashback flick.